Hello peasants, this gear has some tea to spill. But not here because this is my bed, and I don't want tea all over my bed. Ah, that's hot. Why do I even have this? I'm not even a Gemini. I want after Gemini. I'm a fucking Cancer. Hello everyone. So the tea that I am spilling. On Thursday the 21st of February, I had done my driving test. I can now drive.
Fuck yes.
Look at this beautiful face. Isn't that the face of someone who's ready to be on the road and wreak havoc on the world? Now, if you are someone who is learning how to drive and you go through the fucking theory test stages, don't worry if you fail it the first time. It took me fucking 4 tries to eventually pass that, and now I can drive. It took a lot of lessons, probably 30 plus lessons, to actually pass. And I passed first time driving. But I don't know how. So I'm going to explain what happened during the test. So during the test, I met with my examiner. Jesus Christ. I'm going to get to him soon. I thought I failed this test because I hit a curb. I basically did what my mum did when she, doing her test, she hit the curb and she was like, fuck, I failed. And she basically calmed down a bit and she was like, because I knew I failed, I calmed down. But she passed. Hooray. I thought I failed because I hit this curb, and I was like, for fuck's sake, mother, you've done this to me. I was still nervous even after I hit the curb because when I hit it, I was like, I failed, and I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to fail this test because we went through so much money paying for these fucking lessons and the theory tests. So my mum was saying how she calmed down. However, I did not. I'm nothing like my mother. I got more anxious as it went on. Now, we're getting to the examiner. So it was fine at first when I met him. I signed this fucking declaration and then we went outside and we did the eyesight test, which is basically where you look at a car that he points out and you say the license went. Now, as it came to it, he said, count the 5th one from the left. And I'm looking at all these cars like, what? Which one am I saying? And I said, is it the white one or the silver Range Rover? And he was like,
the 5th one from the left. Count.
alright. So I saw it, I read it out, and he said, come on then, we're going to the car now. So we went to the car. And he was explaining, like, what do you do? Do you have a day off? And I said, yes. But I'm back in college next week. And he was like, oh, okay, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm doing performing arts, media and drama. And he was like, you enjoying it? Yeah. Great. Turns out the reason he does this is because he wants to try and calm people down. Didn't work for me because I was still fucking nervous. But we got into the car, he asked me the question. The question was, when should you use fog lights and how do you use them? And I went, well, you turn on the ignition, because I was watching videos about how to do that. I should turn on the ignition, so I turned on the car. I said,
No, you don't need to do that. Turn off the car and tell me.
and I was like, alright, fucking hell. So I turned off the car and I said, okay, so you use this switch, you change it to dipped, and you press this button, and then a light should show up saying that they're on. And then you shouldn't use them if you can't see any further than 100 meters. And I was like, okay, now when you're ready, drive on. I hated it because it literally felt like being with my old instructor. Because my old instructor, before every lesson, he was always nice. He always was like, hi David, how are you doing? And all this shit, basically asking me about my day. During the fucking lessons, he would always yell at me if I did something wrong. Like steering around a fucking corner. He would always hit the fucking brakes and be like, what are you doing? Yelling at me. And it ruined my confidence in driving. So much that I didn't want to drive anymore. So when it came to the test, I have this habit of leaving one hand on my leg while the other one is on the fucking steering wheel. We were literally going no more than fucking 10 miles per hour. We were probably like 5 miles per hour because we had just set off. And he said to me, David, can you please keep both hands on the wheel to keep control? And I was thinking, we're not even going that fast. Like, I understand, yeah, you're meant to, because bad habits and shit. I understand it's a test. You're meant to basically have your hands on the fucking wheel. But no matter what happened, no matter fucking what I did, get my hand off to rub my nose because I have a fucking cold and I'm slowly developing a chest infection. Thanks, Dad. And every time I took my hand off the wheel to rub my nose like this, or sort on my sleeve because my shirt sleeve kept fucking falling down, so I was like, so it stopped annoying me. Every fucking time I either rubbed my nose or pushed up my shirt sleeve, he would always go, "Can you please keep your hand on the wheel?" You are allowed to take your hand off the wheel for a few seconds if you need to rub your fucking nose. And then I remember as we were driving down one of those main roads, he was like, "David, I know you're nervous, but can you please keep your hands on the wheel?" And I said, "I know I'm nervous. It's not that I'm nervous, it's my shirt sleeve keeps falling down." I was like, "Okay." And then we only did like fucking one manoeuvre, and that was reversing back 2 car lengths. And because I didn't do any more, I thought, I fucking failed this test. So we were driving back to the test centre, and I was thinking, oh, I'm going to do that Bay Park thing, where you reversing backwards. Sick. I'm going to end it, hopefully nail it. Cool. No. We got there, and he said, "Pull up to the side of the curb, please." And I thought, oh, okay. So I still did the whole, let's just drive up to where I can be doing it, because I thought maybe that's what he wants me to do. No. He wanted me to actually go to the fucking pavement, so I did. I didn't hit the curb, that wasn't where I hit it. It was when he kept asking me to go to the side. That's when I hit it, and I was like, well, fuck. So I got there, and he said, "Would you like your instructor to hear the results?" And I said, yeah. So I kind of sat there, looked forward, like, the direction I'm looking in now, away from him, and I was like, I fucking failed. And then he goes, "Well, David, I'm pleased to say you've passed." And I just looked at him like, what? I'm sorry? I hit a curb. We haven't done any more fucking manoeuvres. And I kept taking my hand off the wheel. What? I passed? How? And I was sat there thinking, I've passed, as he was trying to explain that all the faults I'd done. So I wasn't really paying attention, because obviously all the faults he was explaining I could work on in the future when I'm driving on the actual road. Body was like slowly shutting down. I was like, no way, I fucking passed. So he was still explaining this stuff to me, and I was literally like, shut up, I passed. Fuck you, examiner, suck my dick. But we obviously had to swap around, me and the instructor, because I'm no longer insured on his car because I fucking passed. As my instructor was taking me back home, he was like asking me what I thought of him, and I said it was okay, because I didn't want to sound like a prick. And he was like, "Well, it's better than what everyone else said." And I said, "Why? What did they say?" And he's like, "Well, that is an asshole." And I was thinking, well, they're not fucking wrong. I didn't want to sound like a prick. And then he was saying how, like, you probably weren't listening to him, were you? And I was like, well, I don't think anyone really listens to their examiner when they've been told they've passed. Because when they've passed, they think, well, I can easily just work on this on my own, because it's better to learn about warning and hazards when you're on the actual fucking road. Which is why I didn't really do my theory very well, because I didn't understand reading a fucking book, and I was like, what does this mean? I'm not going to understand this if I'm not witnessing this for myself. We were driving, and he was saying how, like, well, if you do well with driving on the road and you don't get any points on your license, it'll be great, because if you do end up getting points on your license, you'll have to redo everything again. And if I'm going to be honest, I'm probably not going to start driving again. If I lose my license because I've done something wrong, or I've been in an accident that I accidentally caused, or whatever, I'm probably not going to drive again. Even if they say that I can have an opportunity to drive again, I'm probably going to say no, because I cannot be asked going through the theory again, and I cannot be asked doing the fucking practical again, especially if I have to be with the arsehole of an examiner. I learned to drive because it's a fucking skill I can have. I can put it on my CV and be like, yes, I can drive. I can now get driver jobs. So yeah, that's it. My tea's probably a bit colder now, let's see. Delicious. Anyway guys, that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed my disgusting experience of driving, and if you are someone who is wanting to learn to drive, do it. Please, don't do it. That's all. Goodbye.